Jason is the Army Ranger deep in Afghanistan, finding the bastards that are called the Taliban. Killing foreigners that took out the Twin Towers, killing bastards full auto, full power. Whoa, motherfucker.
Welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive. Today we're looking at a recently redacted strategic military briefing detailing the ongoing conflict, which is officially known as Operation Epic Fury.
Right. And our mission here is to objectively unpack the events spanning late February to March 3rd, 2026. We are synthesizing how a targeted preemptive strike rapidly evolved into a volatile geopolitical and economic crisis involving 9 different countries.
Okay, let's unpack this. Looking at the timeline, the escalation really kicks off on February 28th.
Yeah, following collapsed nuclear negotiations and, well, intelligence suggesting Iran was reaching a nuclear breakout capability.
Right, so President Trump authorized preemptive military strikes, and the focal point of that action was Tehran's Pasteur Street district.
Exactly. And the result of that strike was the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
In military terms, this is a classic decapitation strike, taking out the absolute top of the command chain.
You would normally expect an opposing force to be completely paralyzed by a sudden loss of central leadership like that.
But instead, the Iranian military, specifically the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, enacted what strategists call a wounded animal doctrine.
Which sounds incredibly ominous just reading it in the briefing.
It really does.
And it is, mostly because it is incredibly difficult for a superpower to counter. Instead of crumbling, the IRGC immediately decentralized their command structure.
They just handed operational control down to local commanders.
Right, and leaned really heavily on their regional proxy networks. So instead of one central target to hit,
coalition forces were suddenly dealing with Hydra heads popping up everywhere. The briefing shows the conflict zone expanded across 9 different nations in a matter of mere days.
Which brings us to March 3rd. The briefing refers to this window as the final push.
Yeah, scanning these logs, there is an incredibly intense 48-minute operational window that afternoon where things go completely asymmetrical.
Iranian drones basically bypassed conventional military engagements.
They successfully hit clandestine CIA sites in both Iraq and Saudi Arabia.
At the exact same time that unconventional intelligence war is happening on land, a staggering historical milestone is taking place in the Indian Ocean. A U.S. attack submarine fired a torpedo and sank the Iranian frigate, the Iris Dina.
And the Dina is a Muj-class frigate.
Right, so we are talking about a significant piece of domestic Iranian naval hardware, a major piece of surface hardware.
To put that into perspective, this is the first time since World War II that a U.S. submarine has sunk an enemy surface warship in combat.
It's wild to see World War II-style naval engagements happening concurrently with decentralized drone swarms hitting black sites.
And the fallout from that naval milestone directly triggers the next phase of the crisis, when you have submarines sinking frigates in those waters.
Commercial shipping reacts immediately.
The Hormuz shock.
Exactly. Looking at the financial data here, war risk insurance was suddenly and completely withdrawn for commercial shipping in the region.
And without insurance, shipping simply halts,
Effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz. We all know how critical that waterway is to global energy markets, and the economic contagion was instantaneous.
The numbers jump right off the page here. Oil prices surged 73%.
Spiking to over $130 a barrel in a blink.
The Dow Jones dropped 500 points almost immediately as war worries rattled the markets.
And the financial toll isn't isolated to the markets either. The conflict is directly costing the United States an estimated $4 billion a day.
$4 billion a day between munitions consumption, intelligence operations, and repairing damaged infrastructure. It adds up fast.
It really does. And looking at the impartial domestic polling data in the briefing, the public reaction is very divided.
I have those numbers right here. Currently, 38% of Americans support the strikes following the initial operational successes.
But 45% oppose direct involvement.
The data suggests a lot of that opposition stems from the public feeling that the long-term goals of the conflict remain entirely unclear.
The final push operations may have successfully degraded the immediate nuclear threats and dismantled central leadership, but it has undeniably opened a Pandora's box of asymmetric and economic warfare that defies traditional borders.
It really is a totally different landscape now. And we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today. With major shipping groups like Maersk completely suspending cargo bookings through the region due to that vanished insurance.
How long will it take for these massive geographical reroutes to permanently alter global trade networks?
And more importantly, how long until that reality hits the everyday availability of consumer goods right on your own local store shelves? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.